how much difference it makes when the coils have been cleaned the right way.
6 critical adjustments and external coil cleaning the right way.
Kenny and the boys are going to make your air conditioner sing like paparazzi.
I think you mean Pavarotti.
Yeah, him too.
Get him. Goettl. We're the ones to call.
But it's hard to spell.
While the entire world gets through these difficult times, ESPN Las Vegas is here to keep you laughing and entertained. Thanks for listening. KWWN Las Vegas. It's Cofield and Company.
I like when I'm the least angry person on the show, and by far, I'm exactly that.
It's literally the dumbest show ever made. It's the worst show I've ever seen. I watched it in one sitting.
I court plenty of dislike at work because I'm a lunatic, and I like to compete, and I like to torture coworkers.
It's time for Cofield and Company with Steve Cofield on ESPN Las Vegas.
5 o'clock hours here, Steve Cofield. Adam Hill. Eternal lockdowner, eternal moper. We'll see if we can pick him up here in the 5 o'clock hour. Ari is here as well. Later in the hour, we check in on the NBA and the Lakers, and ESPN's Dave McMenamin will be up. Big Five time.
Battleborn Injury Lawyers presents the Big Five at 5. Number 5.
I don't know what nights wrestling is on because I really can't keep track of it, but I know when it's on, my Twitter feed just gets really stupid. I follow and I'm friends with way too many people who like wrestling. And last night, AEW, which, cool. Seems like they're doing a good job. It hit all over social media. And I got to watch Mike Tyson bring out his band of tough guy thugs. What are we doing at AEW? Did you see this nonsense?
Of course, I saw it. You asked me, what are we doing? I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Who came out with them?
Well, 2 MMA fighters, one being Vitor Belfort, the other being Henry Cejudo, who literally just retired like last week from MMA in a negotiating ploy, who now I think is just making the UFC feel like, oh, he might go to wrestling if we don't pay him more money. I would think he maybe did himself a disservice because you look and you're like, well, he's not very good. He looks weird out there.
Well, he's limited. Listen, he's a great fighter,
tiny.
And we should. The fighting should absolutely push the guys who are 125, 135, 145 pounds because they're great and their fights are great. But he's 5'3", and he walks out there in a wrestling ring, and you're like, well, this is stupid, this is dumb. And then I don't know what he cut the top of the T-shirts for Tyson. So Iron Mike's out there, he's in good shape. He tries to rip off the T-shirt, and it's like, I know it was only like 6 seconds of like struggling with the T-shirt, but it seemed like 45 seconds a minute. And then he's trying to speak on Mike. He's got nothing. Is that Chris Jericho? I don't even know who that was.
I think it was.
Is that who it was?
I think so.
He looks different. It was awful.
But it's also bad because there's no fans. It looks weird.
That too.
It makes no sense.
And then this is on the heels of hearing yesterday that Tyson could be lured into coming back for an exhibition match for $20 million against Tyson Fury. Now, I'm not mad at Tyson if he can get $20 million for something that's stupid, but what are we doing?
Would you rather see him fight that fight that he has no chance and he just get mauled in, or one of these like weird freak show fights that he might actually have a chance?
Freak show. I've said it a million times. There was an offer, and it was, I'll say, only $1 million. There was an offer to fight at least one or a couple of rugby players in Australia. Yeah, sure. Do that. Like a 53-year-old Tyson who, is a badass. He may not be able to go more than like 2 rounds, but is a badass against a guy from sports who thinks he can fight. That's great. An exhibition against 6'9" in his prime, Tyson Fury with a reach of 1,000 inches against a 53-year-old.
Just jab. Just pick him apart and you wouldn't get to see anything.
And now, if Tyson can get $20 million for that, then go ahead. But I mean, I've seen people who are like, I'm absolutely in on a pay-per-view. Anything short of $100, I'm watching that.
What about Tyson Vanderlei Silva?
That would be interesting.
In a bare knuckle boxing fight.
Bare knuckle.
Apparently, Vanderlei Silva has accepted the offer from Bare Knuckle Boxing. They're just waiting on what Tyson's price is. Is that interesting? I mean, I don't know. Silva's a little younger, but he's got a lot of wear to him.
How old Silva? Like 46?
I was thinking like 44. I don't think he's as old as we think he is.
Who would sanction that?
Bare Knuckle. They fight on like reservation somewhere. Fight in Wyoming or somewhere.
I figured Texas. Who, by the way, we should throw in, when we were just talking to Mid-Major Matt a couple minutes ago, I was saying how the NFL is going to have to deal with different states and different percentages of fans allowed, maybe no fans, maybe 50%, maybe 25%. You were saying Texas already came out with a number? Or just did?
Texas has announced sports can resume May 31st.
Right.
With fans.
What's the percentage?
25% capacity.
Wow.
Starting May 31st, only outdoor. So that makes some sense. So, nothing in arenas yet or anything like that, but outdoor sports facilities can go forward to 25% as long as they provide a detailed plan of health and safety protocols. We'll see if some sports like the UFC, who's running right now, looks at that and says 25% is better than none. Should we go there? And also, as we said, outdoor, which leaves them a very tricky decision on football. Is AT&T Stadium outdoor? Is it indoor? It's not really clear. Same with the other stadiums with retractable roofs there. Is that outdoor or indoor? Those things all have to be worked out.
Number 4.
I don't know why you're mad about this, but you were stuck on it a couple of days ago. Your boy Jim from The Office, I know him as Jack Ryan. John Krasinski came up with some good news, YouTube deal. He sold it to CBS to be on their platform. You were mad. You think he's a sellout. He finally spoke about it. What did he say?
First of all, I wasn't mad.
You were livid.
You
were on the verge of tears on our late night happy hour one night.
Not true. I was just thrown off because of what the format was. Jim Halpert.
Supposed to be for us. You're not supposed to make money off it.
It wasn't not for us. It was
for the people.
A temporary fun thing. And he kind of said that. He said, even though he wasn't specifically asked about it, he did basically a Zoom chat online and Instagram Live with Rainn Wilson. So Jim and Dwight, no pranks, I don't think really were played between them as would have happened on The Office. But he was talking about his Some Good News show. And Jim Halpert, John Krasinski, said, I was only planning on doing 8 of them during quarantine because I have these other things that I'm going to be having to do very soon, like Jack Ryan and all this other stuff. But more than that, it was just something that writing, directing, producing, all those things with a couple of my friends was just so much. I knew it wouldn't be sustainable with my prior commitments. So I knew the 2 options were going to be that I leave it off at 8 in my office, which I would love to keep doing the show from my office forever, but it just wasn't sustainable, or just cutting it off or just passing it on. And he decided to pass it on and sell it, which some people were annoyed by because it was just supposed to be a fun little YouTube thing that was not supposed to be for profit. No, it was a very large contingent of people that were like, wait a minute, this was just supposed to be a feel-good thing for everybody, not a profit-making device. And that's the decision. That's the direction he chose to go. I say just cut it off. Leave it at 8 episodes.
You need to watch Jack Ryan.
No, I'm good.
You do. It's good.
Isn't he like an action spy or something?
It's like a Homeland type show. It's good. Right now it's based around Venezuela. I was watching last night, and great stare down. There was an intimidating stare down with the president of Venezuela and John.
Does he still
I'm telling you, he works as kind of a badass. But pretty big guy.
Does he still have that company in Philadelphia, like where he works with the players?
Number 3.
Athlete.
Time to throw the headsets. Kidding. Minor league baseball. Are the A's really going to cut off their minor leaguers? Yes. This was a story the other day that they're paying them $400 a week. And, end of the month. It's coming up. No more money. Pod Squad, it appears, is going to pay their minor leaguers through August. I don't think the rest of baseball has stepped up with any sort of commitment for minor leaguers. Okay. What do you think about this
morning?
And why is this not publicized more when we're in this whole, hey, players versus the owners, millionaires versus billionaires? What about the hundredaires?
Well, I don't think
why are the minor leaguers not thrown into the discussion? Or will the owners actually turn it on the Major League Baseball players and go, hey, we could pay these guys their $1,600 a month, if you would take a little bit less, major leaguers,
Of course they're going to
you're
do
screwing over your minor leaguers.
that. Of course they're going to do
So
that.
our aviators, this is about the time, SOL time, no
Yep.
money.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely part of what they're going to do. If the actually there might be another wrinkle to that, but they're going to use this and saying like, hey, if you guys don't want to sign for much less money, you're also screwing these guys that don't make a whole lot. I think when you ask why don't people get outraged or upset about this, one, like they just see players as they're just players. They're all rich. They're getting rich to do something that is just fun for everybody. Why would they care? It's not the case. They make very little in the minor leagues. They're riding buses. Barely you can make rent for the most part. Like they're not making a lot, and they're only making it for a very short part of the year. These guys are not rich guys, and so I think that there should be a little bit more outrage about it. But we saw the A's kind of be the first one to not really announce it, but it was discovered that they're going to stop making payments to the minor league players. Some other teams have kind of stepped up, as you said. The Padres, it looks like the Mariners have said like we're going to keep paying our guys. Of course, they should keep paying these guys that are on these very small contracts. Like, first of all, it's not like they can go out and get other jobs. There's not really things open right now to go work at, and plus they could be going back to work at any time. It's just it's such a little thing that it's so easy to just pay them. And I'm sorry if you have, if you're an owner with $4 billion and you can't pay these guys, which would amount to, I think it was about $1 million that they would end up having to pay. Like, just pay them. But there's never any pressure. There's never any like outrage from people. They never hold it against these guys. They for some reason choose owners over players all the time, so they don't have to worry about that PR battle.
Number 2.
Well, they're outraged with Max Scherzer. Many fans. Scherzer, Nats pitcher, making a lot of money. Speaking on behalf of the players, saying after discussing the latest developments with the rest of the players, there's no reason to engage with MLB in any further compensation reductions. Not shockingly, this is being greeted with, you make so much money, you're not going to come back. What's wrong with you? I'll also throw this out. If you write that baseball not playing this year will do irreparable damage, you sound like a buffoon.
Yeah.
You'll be back, and many fans will be back. We live in short attention span America. We love sports. Baseball, beginning of the season, has a little bit of competition with the NBA, but will it hurt them in the short term? Yeah, it'll be a PR hit if they don't play, but it's not irreparable damage. Stop. So what do you think about what Scherzer said? Because baseball came out and they're like, all right, top, the salary scale that we're offering here, the top players in the game are going to have to take the biggest hit. The minimum guys for half a season, you basically get half your money, but the top level guys, you're going to get like 20, 21% of your money. And Scherzer's statement is like, we're not even addressing that. Let's just move forward with some other points of discussion, safety, and the whole setup. The money thing we'll deal with.
No matter how you slice it or break it down, the offer that the owners made is an absolutely preposterous offer. It's insane. It's an offer that they obviously never expected, and that's how these negotiations go.
There's very few people in our audience who would take 20% of their salary to do at least 50% of the work, of the normal work.
Yeah, no chance. And
I don't know.
It's not even just that.
And here's the thing, like, you might have to. Like, that might be the best that you can do, which sucks. But we say it all the time. We are all replaceable. There's someone behind us who will do the job. Sadly, for that, those crappy terms, there's only so many people who can play baseball at the highest level.
Yeah.
And these guys also make a nice living. So to take the risk for 20% of your salary for half a season, why would they do that?
Right. And
to save America? I mean, that whole fluffer thing with how important sports is, cut it out.
Yeah, stop it. And like when you talk about people that if you on your job would take 20% to do 50% of the work, like, are there people that would just be like, yeah, I have to do that right now because I need to, whatever. Yes, sure. Maybe. But there also is no guarantee that they're ever going to recoup that money. And so many of these players, their earning potential is so short. It's 3-4 years where you can really make money for your whole career. And you have to take every advantage of every dollar that you could possibly make in that time. And it's not like you could say, hey, just take it for this year, and then for the next 20 years, you're going to be back to your normal, earning. Like, it doesn't work that way in professional sports. You have to get everything that you possibly can. And they're also they are also using this to try to get a lot of the things they want to put in, done to the players. They're going to cut their salaries to whatever, and whatever they take, then they're going to go forward and say, okay, now this really worked. We're also going to be, we're going to be short for the next 4, 5, 6 years because of this year. So we're going to have to make this permanent. Everybody's salary is going to be cut 40%, and we're going to have a salary cap going forward. Wait, what? Where did this come from? They're going to do all those things. So you can't allow the owners to do this. You
also believe there are some owners who are like, we're fine with shutting it down. If it helps us win the war against labor, we're fine shutting it down. And it's, for me, the bottom line and I know we're heavy on this, and we're heavy on one side on this. The bottom line, I think, for many of the owners, they don't get to treat the players like they treat the regular employee in their normal line of business. Yep. And it's got to be infuriating.
Oh, it is.
In this case, the employees have way too much power. I'm talking about the baseball players, and it must drive many of them completely freaking nuts.
Number 1.
All right, so what's next for the NBA? It's the same deal, right? They're going to have to work out the money part of it with the players. They're going to have to work out the safety part of it with the players. First thing, though, is they're going to try to do what the NHL did, and that is come up with a format and a location. Mark Lazary, I guess we'll trust him, because last week he said it was going to be a 2-bubble setup. It looks like Vegas is out for now. He's the owner of the Bucks. He said the timeline is there's going to be a meeting tomorrow, and it looks like a specific plan or plans. So that's not specific. Plans will be introduced by Adam Silver. Owners will think about it during the weekend and then reconvene early next week on the format that they would use with the resumption of play. Mark Stein was on the Jim Rome show, and he talked about one of the most important things from the player side, and that is the safety aspect. And I know a lot of people have poo-pooed this whole thing, like, you're not really scared, you're just using this as a crutch, players. The whole safety thing is all blown up.
Soccer is making, to this point, what looks like a successful comeback. In Germany, in England, they're going to be coming back. In America, Major League Soccer's coming back. But that sport is outside. It's a contact sport, but it's in a big, expansive outdoor stadium, and that's just different. I mean, the reality is basketball is a full contact sport indoors, and these guys are in much closer proximity. It's going to be even more difficult for, basketball might have it the toughest of all the team sports to try to get this thing back online because of that.
You buy that? I think a lot of fans are not going to buy it, but I mean, the reality is, outside of what, football? Where you're tackling each other? Baseball, you can mostly stay apart unless it's, sliding situations. Basketball, you do have to body up people to play defense. You're going to be all over each other.
James Harden's okay. He'll be fine.
Okay.
He's socially distant defense. You're right. Of course, absolutely on those things. And the mitigating factor would be, well, you're all tested. So, and especially if they're testing every day, you're like, well, that everybody on that floor is clean because they've been tested, so they don't have it. So there's no harm in transmitting a disease you don't have.
Okay.
When you're covering them, so
that'd be a big part of the discussion with the players, and you now have firsthand experience. Like, you're going to cover UFC on Saturday. You're going to get tested. When are you getting tested?
Saturday morning.
And the event is Saturday night.
Yeah, and I have to, when I take the test, I have to go into complete isolation. Actually, I'll point this out. Was talking to one of the female fighters today that's on that card. She said that is making her job a little bit extra difficult because she has to get her hair braided before getting tested. So usually she would have the hair.
You guys getting tested at like 6 a.m.?
Well, she's going to get the fighters get theirs done Friday and then have to go into complete isolation. Some media people and some other staffers can get Saturday morning.
And they can turn it around that quickly.
Yeah, it's supposedly takes 4 to 6 hours, but you have to, when I take the test, I will not be able to see anyone.
Okay.
So what they said is eat lunch or bring it with you because you're not going to be able to order anywhere. You can't order, you can't see anyone, you can't be in contact with anyone. Wow. You are in total isolation after you take the test. So what she said is before I take the test, I have to get my hair braided because I can't be around anybody. So usually my hair is only braided and tight on my head for 6-8 hours. In this case, it's going to have to be 30 hours because I'm not going to be around anybody. So there are little things that are adjusted because of this. So like those things have to be in mind. But yeah, I will have to take the test Saturday morning. Can't be around anybody. There's no contact with anybody because otherwise you take the test at 6 a.m. You're like, all right, I'll be back at 2. You could have come in contact with anybody during those times. So it's crazy. And also in terms of the players, like if I hear one more person say, the players are healthy, they're young, they're fine, what are they concerned about? Either, listen to me right now, you are either ignorant or just willfully ignoring what's going on. The players aren't caring about themselves. They're not. It's do they pick something up and take it to a family member or take it to somebody else's family? That's what they care about.
It's the Big 5 at 5, brought to you by Battle-Born Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured, call Justin Watkins at Battle-Born Injury Lawyers, 570-9000.
Papa-Lock here. Life's feeling a bit upside down right now, so the last thing you need to worry about is a problem with your car. Papa-Lock is ready to help. So if you lock yourself out of your car,